few months ago, back into 2023, about the last quarter thereabouts, there was a major blow up in the Nigerian River State Police Command when one activist, Joe, raised alarm about a pipeline surveillance contractor whose home was invaded by Nigerian Police Force River State Police Command, took his money that ran into millions and all of that, and basically harassed the guy, and at some point gave him some money to go take care of himself and all of that. So Joe, the activist, raised alarm, brought the issue to the media, pushed and wrote to the IGP. But in that narration, he accused from the commissioner, then CP Woyi, and several other leading police officers who took part in the sharing of the bounty, if I may say so. But after some investigation, the IGP followed through with the investigation, announced the redeployment of the CP and several other persons, and then, the money was returned to the owner. And that was the end of that case. We didn't hear anything again. And in about 3 months or thereabouts, following that particular incident, even though the IGP's office itself investigated that, we are now listening to another extortion, brazenly, by Nigerian Police Force, River State Police Command again, dragging a man from Port Harcourt to Abia State into Bayelsa, Delta State, and back again to the River State. And then they extorted $3,000. If the office of the IGP could carry out that investigation, admit that his men were culpable, and literally return the man's money to him, we asked then, is that it? Are there no consequences? And here we are again. Men of the Nigerian police attached to the River State Police Command doing the needful audaciously. Can we really say we have a police in this country? These are acts you see with criminals. If the police is now being seen carrying out such acts, can we say we actually have police in this country?
Well, unfortunately, we are bound to see, repeat versions of these kinds of misconduct or this kind of unprofessional conduct by policemen. The reason is simple. I mean, as you've narrated, the incident that happened a while ago involving the pipeline surveillance contractor happened because previous incidents had occurred, and there are no consequences. Indeed, in that case, they went as far as giving him a refund. But I mean, it shouldn't have ended there at all. There should have been consequences, because you see, corruption within the police has a negative effect on that institution. And I mean, policing has a lot to do with perception. Policing cannot be done without the cooperation, without the participation of the people, of those who are policed. And for that cooperation, for that participation to take place, there has to be trust on the part of the people for the policing institution. In a situation where people perceive the men in uniforms as in some cases part-time criminals, they are not going to be willing to cooperate with them in unearthing or in busting or in preventing crime. So it's going to negatively affect the discharge of their duties. I think this matter is one matter that the Nigerian police should not just sweep under the carpet, if you pardon the cliche. It's something they really, really need to, investigate, get to the bottom of, and then ensure that sanctions are meted out publicly. Because it's now in the public domain, and so Nigerians will be interested to know what will happen afterwards. It's not just enough to carry out investigations and then, compensate the victims. But no, in addition to that, there has to be consequences, punitive consequences for those who, behave this way and then portray the institution of the police in such bad light.
Now, speaking of putting the Nigerian police institution in bad light, one would guess, or maybe even hoping that, considering how sensitive the role of the Nigerian police is when it comes to internal security, that such actions should not be one that you can just, like you said, sweep under the carpet, but immediate action needs to be taken to ensure that happens. Now, that's because we have seen in this country, just months ago, back in 2023, where some men who were police officers who were caught somewhere in Oyo State extorting money from an expatriate biker, female biker, and then they were dismissed. Within a very short period, they were dismissed from office. And when they left, they came out, gave an interview to a blog where they said that the reason why they were doing that was because they were owed their salaries arrears. And up till today, the Nigerian police force, and it's not to the best of my knowledge, have not come out to say that was true or it's not true. If men who were caught on the road, and they were not the first, extorting money from a Nigerian or strangers, and they were dismissed from the force, how come men who were seen brazenly disgracing the entire Nigerian police force, painting them as criminal institution, are still seen or allowed to be part of the system? And how much of these stories or issues around can one readily trust to say that when you're dealing with the Nigerian police, you should feel safe?
Yeah, trust is always earned. And sadly, the Nigerian police as an institution has done pretty little to earn the trust of Nigerians. So it's understandable that Nigerians regard the police with a lot of mistrust, a lot of distrust, in some cases suspicion, and in some cases even barely concealed hostility. So it's as a result of conduct such as this. With regard to the two policemen who were dismissed for, demanding a bribe from, I think she was a Dutch woman. Some people have said that, it's simply because it involves a foreigner, or it's simply because there is a European involved. There was a European involved. That was why the Nigerian police was that swift in taking that action. But I don't want to believe that is true. But I think we should also begin to look at this thing by taking it to the roots. What are the procedures for checking those who enlist in the force? Because that's where it starts.
We're expecting another 30,000.
Oh yeah, that's where it starts. If you make it an all-commerce affair without investigating to know the background, to know if they have criminal records, then you're simply going to create room for people with criminal tendencies, people even with criminal records, to then infiltrate the force, and this time use the legitimacy or the legality which the force offers as a cover to carry their criminal activities from within. So we really, really have to be interested in the quality of persons who enlist in the force.